Simple interest. There's two ways to calculate interest. There's simple interest and compound interest. So let's just have a look at a simple example. If we invested $500 and we get 10% PA interest. Okay, first off, PA, if you see that, means per annum, which just means per year. And percentages, always make them decimals. 10% is 10 divide 100, okay, which is 0.1. Always divide 100. So simple interest, we start with, we've invested $500. After 1 year, if we're getting 10% interest, so 10% of $500 is $50. So we're going to add $50. So we're going to have, after 1 year, we're going to have $550. After 2 years, we're still going to add this same $50. Okay, we're going to get the same thing added every year. So we're going to have $600. After 3 years, we're going to have $650. Okay, that's simple interest. You get the same amount of interest every year. It's just 10, whatever, in this case 10% of what you started with. Okay, which is simple because it's not really realistic, because with compound interest, you're going to also, the first year, you're going to get 10% of your $50. You're going to have $550. Same thing. But what happens is the next year, you're going to get 10% of $550, okay? Because you've got an extra $50 in the bank. You should get interest on that money, which is yours now, okay? Which is the way your savings account would work. So you're going to get $55 now. So you're going to have $605. Okay, and then the next year you're going to get 10% of that. So you're going to have $665.50. Okay, so you're going to get more interest this way. Alright, the rest of this video we're just doing simple interest. Okay, so there's some, and we just have some formulas. Okay, you just need to remember these two formulas. Okay, I equals P times R times T. Okay, I is how much interest you're earning. Okay, so if you had that loan, that 10% interest loan, let's say you had that loan for 5 years, you'd get 5 times $50 if it's simple interest. Okay, that would be $250. It's the total amount of interest that you earn. Anyway, principal, that's what you start with. Okay, that's what you start with. That's how much you invest or how much you borrow. That's what P is. Rate of interest, that's R always as a decimal, and T time in years. Okay, straightforward. So that's I equals PRT. The next one just tells you how much total your investment is worth. Like after 3 years, our investment up above in that example was worth $650. Okay, that's what A is. The total amount repaid, or the total amount that it's worth. Okay, so let's just use those formulas, look at a simple example. Okay, this is from your textbook, page 708, worked example 1. We borrow $20,000 for 5 years at an interest rate of 9.5% per annum. If interest is calculated as simple interest, okay, it's simple interest, that means we use those formulas. So we find A, the amount of interest charged. Okay, I equals PRT. So what does P equal? That's the 20,000 that we are borrowing. What does R equal? That's the interest rate, 9.5%, divided by 100, and that's 0.095. T is time, that's 5 years. So I equals 20,000 times 0.095 times 5, and if you put that in your calculator, that is going to be $9,500 is how much interest, since you've borrowed this money, that's how much interest you'll have to pay in 5 years. Okay, so that's part A. Part B, the total amount repaid. Okay, so when you pay back this loan, you're not just paying back $9,500, you have to pay back $20,000 that you started with. So you have to pay back the P, which is $20,000, plus the I, which is $9,500. So the amount that you have to repay is $29,500. Okay, simple interest is pretty simple. Now let's look at the next example. So again, from your textbook, find the value of the missing variable in each of the following simple interest situations. Alright, so let's look at question A. $200 interest is paid on an investment of $5,000 after 2 years. Okay, this is still, we're going to be using this equation, I equals PRT. So the first equation, we know interest paid, that's I, we know that's $200. Let's see, P, our investment is $5,000. We know that. We know 2 years, so that's T. T was 2 years. The one we don't know is the R. So we can rearrange our formula to find it. So we've got I equals PRT. To find R, we have to get R by itself. So we have to divide. We have to get rid of the P and the T. So if we divide by P times T, okay, that's basically what we're doing here, just dividing them both at the same time. So we're going to get R equals I over PT, which is 200 over 5,000 times 2. Okay, and if you're putting that into your calculator, if you're using the divide key, you're going to need to use a bracket. Okay, you can use a fraction button, that's fine, but if you did a divide key here, if you typed in this, 200 divided by 5,000 times 2, this will give you the wrong answer unless you put a bracket there. So R is going to be 0.02. Okay, so R is the interest rate, that's the thing we don't know. So just remember that's given us a decimal answer, so it's not 0.02%. To make this a percent, we should really answer in percent. We're going to have to times that by 100, and R is going to be 2%, and of course that is a per annum interest rate. Alright, let's do the next one. B. $350 interest is paid on an investment at 4% PA after 9 months. So we know that I is $350. We know that R is 4%, which is 0.04, not 0.4. T. T is not 9, okay, because T is in years. So if it's months, divide by 12, and that is 0.75 years. Okay, so the thing we don't know is P. Alright, so we've got I equals PRT. We want P by itself, so we have to divide the R and the T. Divide the R and the T here. P equals I divided by RT. So that's R times T underneath, so 350 divided by 0.04 times 0.75. And this is what our calculator gives us for an answer. $11,666.67 was what was invested. Okay, third one, $12.50 interest is paid. Okay, I equals $12.50. An investment of $3,000. That's how much we invested, so that's $3,000. R is 5%, which is 0.05, and T is the one we don't know. I equals PRT. We want T by itself, divide P and divide R. And T equals I over PR, which equals 1250 divided by 3000 times 0.05.